Welcome to Rich Talk, where we keep the conversation going. The host of this episode,
Nautica,
Delilah,
Autumn.
D'Andrea.
So hey y'all, welcome back. Another episode 3. We are here. I have my rich girls with me. You feel me? And we talking all things black women today, okay? That's what this day is about. That's what this episode is about. So give us our credit, give us our flowers, because we're here. Okay, so y'all, let's get into it. Y'all ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're going to discuss basically everything that black women have given to society, given to the culture, given to just the betterment of people. So we can go as broad as we want. We can start wherever we want to. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to just say, like, we have done so much concerning fashion, beauty, like all of that. If we want to go back, if we want to go forward, past and present. As far as like Madam C.J. Walker, and then today like Jackie Aina, like Rihanna, like so many people have done so many different things for the culture and just the betterment. So like, where do you guys see the fashion and beauty industry going as far as like black women?
Well, I really want to start with Jackie, yo, that's my girl. Like, I have been following Jackie. Yes, I've been following Jackie since, like, the beginning of her starting. I really feel like she has changed the beauty industry so much. Absolutely. She really does, in my opinion, speak to black people or black women specifically when, like, doing her reviews and things like that. And basically, like, but what I'm trying to say is like, she makes sure she gives her real, true opinion, even though she's getting bigger in the industry. And I think that's what's gotten her so far. She makes sure that she only works with brands that promote black women. Right. She won't work with brands that don't uplift us, even if they are, like non-black brands. Like, she's partnered with people to get them to, like, understand our true colors and matching us, because foundations and stuff in the beauty industry has been very, very difficult for black women to find, like, colors that match their skin. Like, you will find 50 of lighter shades, but then when it comes to the darker shades, you'll get like 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that Jackie would, when she used to do her reviews like 6-7 years ago, she would talk about that. And she used to she basically to me like revolutionized the game when it comes to beauty products for real.
And I think also some credit should go to Rihanna, just based off of your point. Because when she came out with Fenty Beauty, I think that really kind of set a new standard for all the other makeup brands that came after her and decided to now. Because we have brands like, I don't know, Yves Saint Laurent or Giorgio Armani that didn't have as many shades.
Right, exactly.
And now we've seen what Rihanna did, and they have been sort of like almost forced to like keep up.
Yeah, she should.
So I do think she also deserves her flowers.
I agree. So like, what about different people that we've learned in history, as far as like Henrietta Lacks, like how her body was used for like millions of people, right? Like scientific purposes and things like that. Like those are revolutionary, especially like today for us, as a culture, as a people. And I think that we have been used and abused so much in culture that like now it's time for us to actually stand up and take it back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's time for us to actually speak up. So, how do you guys feel about that? Like, black women basically taking over. Like, we here now.
I feel like now, like, we kind of are making people say, like, thank you. Like, like, we making you say thank you to us because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, we started it all, we trended it all, we started and we ended. Like, it's solely based on us. And that's just how I feel about, like, with everything, like, and I'm going to even take it back to, like, you guys talking about like Rihanna, like not so much as her like in the beauty, but what she did like with her line, what I'm saying? Like a lot of women don't celebrate all black women, shape, sizes, and everything. So the fact that Rihanna like, all right, I'm gonna take y'all and we gonna move this and do this, like I feel like that helps like even black women become even more like appreciated and like celebrated like in the culture. So I feel like that's.
I think it's good. I think what we're seeing now, because I think at the end of the day, there's always going to be copy. People are going to copy, whether it's within race or gender or whatever. But I think what is good to see now in this generation is just, I think what we've seen a lot in the past is white women stealing the ideas and then becoming icons for it. Right. And I think now we at least get to see black people actually create ideas and get the credit that they deserve. Right. And of course, there's still black fishing going on. And at the end of the day, whites are the majority. So once they steal an idea, they will become sort of like the icon of it anyway. But I just think like now with this generation, and I think especially with social media, because now we'll be able to give people accolades in different sort of like aspects. We don't rely just on the Oscars or just on this to give people their accolades. So I think, it's just good to be able to finally see us there, see us being represented in the different streams and different types of things. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because, like, Black women are taking over in tech. Black women are taking over in STEM. Like, it's just so many different avenues where we just see ourselves, like, being applauded and being appreciated. And even if it's not appreciated, like, we see you there, sis. Like, I see you. I see you making the moves. You making the moves. Like, we all gonna be there soon. We all gonna sit up there. So it's like, it's just good to see the progress that we're going in. And, like, it's super appreciated. Like, like, just thinking about our children and, like, the daughters that we may have, even our sons, like, just the progress that Black people are making, like, during this day and age is just exceptional. And I think that, like, as millennials and as Black women and as, like, as Stacey Abrams says, like, the new majority, like, that's basically us, the progressives, the Black people who are taking a stand and, like, hey, we're going to do what we got to do to make it happen. Like, that is, like I said, exceptional. I'm just so glad, like, we're doing this. Like, it's no better feeling for real. So I was listening to this interview between Janelle Monáe and Stacey Abrams, and the question that Janelle Monáe said was, what gives you the confidence to believe if you speak out about things that matter to your community that people will listen? And she said, like, basically her parents raised her, like, to believe that, not if you speak that people will listen, but that if you do the work, people will see your fruit. Like, people will see the action. And, like, that stuck with me so hard, like, when I listened to it, because I'm like, yo, it's not about you speaking and people listening, but if people see you do the work, like how she's been doing the work in Georgia, like how she's been actively going out, making sure that people are registered to vote, like,
that's big,
very big. Like, doing all that canvassing and getting, like, to the grassroots is the work, like, that her parents instilled in her to show, you know what I mean? And it matters. And my next question was going to be, even though she's done a lot in Georgia, Stacey Abrams, do you feel like that it's time for her to, like, do you feel like Black women have done enough for people? Like, it's time for us to chill out? Because, like, for instance, if we constantly do for people and we constantly make ways for people, like, she shouldn't have to save the world type deal. You know what I mean? Like, the Black women and the save the world mentality. Like, we're tired of saving you. Like, do y'all ever feel like there comes to a point where
we need to be saved?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You be tired of wearing the cake sometimes. It just be like that.
I think that we always are going to we're always going to be the hero. You know what I mean? But I do think that we deserve to, like, relax, be pampered, just, be thanked, like you said earlier, for the things that we've done without always having to be at the forefront. Like, I kind of don't necessarily want to get into, like, protests and stuff, but, it's like Black women are usually always at the forefront, but then when things happen with the Black women, it's like we still have to fight for ourselves. Like, I would like to see more people fight for us, where we don't have to always show up every single time. Not show up, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just where we can have people fight for us and be like, dang, they did that for us. You know?
Right. Like, it feels good as much as we advocate for other people. Like, it would be good for people to advocate for us.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I feel like we've been leading so many, social injustices for so long. It's kind of impossible for us not to. Like, we as Black women are used to, like, stepping up and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna just do it.
Yeah.
Because nobody else gonna do it, so I gotta do it.
Or they not gonna do it right.
Or I'm gonna make them do it right.
Okay? Exactly.
So it's like we so conditioned to doing that. It's like, how can we not teach the next person to do it? Because then it's like, at the end of the day, we also teaching boundaries. We also teaching everything that needs to be taught. Like, so I feel like we can't really be tired of, like, I'm sick of saving the world.
Right.
Because, I mean, if we don't save us and then the people that we love, who else gonna save us? We can't leave it to the people who they think are the majority.
Right.
Can't leave them to save us because we will always be drowning, I feel like. So
that's good.
But I will say, I do feel like there is starting to be, maybe it's more so with us millennials. I see a lot on Twitter where a lot of Black women are starting to have boundaries, where they are saying, this may be a Black matter, but I'm not participating because you guys don't participate for us. So I do feel like we are getting into a space where a lot of like Black millennials are starting to say, I'm not participating in this because we always have to do it. So, I mean, how do y'all feel about that? Like, do y'all think it's okay for us to have boundaries, or should we, you know, since we always are at the forefront, do we just, you know, keep pushing? Like,
I think it's, you know, in any scenario, I think it's always okay to set yourself a boundary, you know, regardless. And I think what is often like sort of left behind is, okay, we're always at the forefront of this movement. We're always taking the initial steps, but what does that do to us mentally and physically? It is exhausting. And so I do think it's a good thing to say, actually, I'm going to sit this one out. Because at the end of the day, we can only give so much, you know.
Absolutely.
And so at some point, it has to be everyone has to fight for themselves. We can't keep fighting for other people. If you're not fighting for you, I can come and save you every single time.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. Something that just came to my mind when you were talking is like, you can't pour from an empty glass.
Yeah,
like, if nobody is filling you up, then like you don't have anything else to give.
Right.
And I don't want Black women to get to the point where we don't have anything else to give.
Yeah.
So I think that balance is essential. Just like how when it comes to your job, you gotta balance. Like, okay, I work from this time, but after that time, I'm clocked out. Like, I'm not doing no more work. Like, it's a balance.
She's after 4:30 though.
Listen, that's it. That's it. And it's like just like how it comes to your mental health too. Like, okay, I can only occupy so much space today as far as, you know, being there for my friends, being there for my family and work. So, I gotta check out for a minute. Like, let me refigure myself out. Like, let me configure some things, and then I'll get back with you. Like, I think the balance is essential.
It's very essential.
I have another question. So, speaking of like, you know, culture of curation, how will we curate that to be like, you know what I'm saying? What does that look like for us? Like, how do we start setting boundaries as like a whole, like as a collective of Black women? Like, what does that look like?
When everybody starts speaking up and saying we sick of the same stuff.
Right.
I feel like when everybody learns to use their voice and say like, we sick of standing up for stuff that y'all don't stand up for. Like, why half of us fighting for abortions and the other half not? Why are everybody not fighting for women to have a voice of their own body? Like, why, you know, like that's when it comes to a point where everybody is on the same page, I feel like, and speaking up about the same thing, then that's when I feel like a change will come. Right. But everybody is so opinionated, especially when it comes to women. Everybody always has an opinion, so
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that
like,
is very true.
I don't even know what I'm like. Everybody
always got something
to say.
Yeah, that is very true.
Right. So I have a question based off that. So like, how can we as Black women like redefine stereotypes? Like, this just came to my mind as we were talking. Like, you know, we have so many stigmas and things placed on us. Like, as Black women, like, you rude. You angry all the time, like all those stereotypical things, you know what I mean, like, are placed on us, you know, and we can become cool and collective for forever. But then the one time you make me mad is, oh, there she goes.
You're mad Black woman.
Listen, I knew it was gonna come out. I knew it was gonna come out. Like, no, you knew what you did. You know you provoked me.
Okay.
Let's not play those games.
You made me cut up.
So like, is there a way that like we can redefine, or are we redefining already what people are thinking about us?
I think my take on this is a little bit controversial.
It's okay.
No, I was actually thinking about this summer because of everything that was going on and how angry I was. And I was just thinking, like, actually, we should be angry. There is a reason why Black women are angry, because we are at the bottom of everything. Yeah. We are expected to show up every single time.
Right.
And there's so many things that we go through that is invisible to people that people don't talk about. So it's almost like this summer I was like, yeah, I am angry, and I should have the right to be angry. And I kind of felt the same way about Black people. How they say Black people are always angry. And I'm like, well, if you have oppressed these people for 400 years, they should be angry. I mean, actually, that is the most natural feeling that they should have.
Right.
So I know it's a stereotype, but I think we should kind of look beyond the stereotype and kind of just try to analyze it deeper and be like, okay, Black people are angry, right?
But why?
Why are they angry? Right. This anger didn't just show up out of nowhere.
Right.
So that's my take.
I mean, no, you got a lot of trips to your take.
Right. It's like culminated over like years, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I think when it comes to like an individual like level, like you said, like if you're arguing with somebody, they say like, oh, well, like you're angry. I think that's kind of just like anybody can get angry at any situation. I think it's almost just not trying to put that narrative on us. Like, how can I put it? Like, if you make somebody angry, right, and they're angry, it's okay. Like, white people get angry too.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I just don't understand why is that
The emphasis.
Yeah, the emphasis.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, like, dating black women, they'll try to be like, oh, y'all are this, y'all are that, and it's just like, other women are too. But I think more so, I feel like, I'm the type of person, I feel like, let's take a negative and turn it into a positive. Like, okay, I'm sassy, or okay, I might talk like this. If I, you know, I might get a little, you know, jazzy, but what's wrong with that? You know, like, in a previous conversation, I heard, people saying basically, like, we are not monolithic. Like, we can do what we want. If we want to, you know, be into anime and, you know, watch certain things as a black woman, that's okay. Like, let's embrace that. Like, I feel like, let's take the negative and turn it into a positive. Show them that we are different. We're, you know,
multifaceted in all areas.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was thinking is just, I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, but I was just thinking how much like colorism actually has a sort of like an effect on how people can see us as angry, because when we look at the way they talk about Latinas, they call them spicy. You know, but when it's black people, it's angry. So I do think that maybe colorism may play a role in the stereotypes where certain people are allowed to express their feelings and their anger, but they're sort of justified in a different way that they justify it for black people. Right. So,
I agree.
Absolutely. So on that note, we're just gonna be ourselves. We're just gonna come to the table.
Oh, we was doing that already.
Listen,
My bad.
Cool. Get it off your chest. So, ladies, we finna slide into our Get It Off Your Chest segment. So, I want to get it off my chest. How and when did you allow yourself to take up space inside the room? Like, as far as a black woman, as far as being present, coming to the forefront, showing who you are. Like, when did you allow yourself, or how did you allow yourself to take up space in this world?
I think it's a loaded question.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of reminds me of what you said earlier about Janelle Monáe and Stacey Abrams when they had that conversation. I think the only thing I can think of and relate it to is just my mother. So we grew up in Portugal, which is like super racist country, but in a different sort of level. Not like police brutality necessarily, but just systematically is very racist and stratified. And she always had like, you know, very menial jobs like a cleaner or a cooker. But I think the thing that I think she's always passed on to me is whenever she felt like she was wronged or something was wrong, she always spoke up. And I think she always said to me, like, you know, as long as you do the work and they see you do the work, once you speak up, they will listen to you, or they will at least attempt to listen to you. And I think that's just something that she just passed on. And, you know, sometimes it's tough, especially when you're the only black person in the room.
Absolutely.
Because you're like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm bringing up the race card. Oh my God, they're going to, because you can see them. You can see them tuning out and being like, ugh.
Here they go.
Yeah, here we go again. But I think it's just for your own sake to just be able to be like, I spoke up, you know. And I think it's not always going to happen. You're not always going to have the strength to speak up, and that's okay. It's just, I've had moments where I didn't speak up because I just felt like I wasn't going to be heard. And then I was like, okay, next time I'm going to speak up. Because I kept thinking, like, I should have spoken up. I should have said something that day. And you just carry that with you. And, you know, it's, like I said, it's tough. It's not going to happen every time, and that's okay. But as long as you speak up, then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I would say that I'm actually learning still how to take up space, probably after I graduated, which was back in 2018, because like, I'm a very outspoken person, but to a certain extent, I would still like water me down. And I had came to a point where my mom was like, you can't water yourself down for everybody because you never gonna grow. So I had to get to a point where like everybody deserves the growth of me, not the watered down version of me. And I realized like as long as if I'm not speaking up for myself, nobody else is gonna speak up for me. You know, nobody's gonna know how far to take it with me or how far I'm gonna let somebody go because I'm not speaking up for myself. And I realized I had to speak up more with my job that I'm at. Like, I'm like, y'all run me rampant. Y'all drive me crazy. And y'all just want me to be like, okay.
Right.
And see, and now my mom like, you can't do that at work. You know, like, my mom raised me, like, to speak up, but it was still, like, I was so, like, I'm speak up, but I'm a like, right. You know, but now it's like, my mom's like, no, like, I taught you to speak up, but you can't, you got to learn how to not sometimes. Right, yeah. So, like, that's what I'm learning. I'm learning, like I said, like, I can't water myself down for anybody. Either you're going to accept me as I am, you're going to take me when I walk in this room, or not. And if I make you uncomfortable, that's fine, but I'm done making people let me feel uncomfortable when I walk in the room.
Facts.
So.
I would say, listening to y'all, like, I was thinking, I'm like, dang, I'm still going through this journey because even though I am like an outspoken person, I definitely tone myself down a lot, especially like in the professional world. But one way I would say I'm learning to take up space is by making people learn, especially, you know, other people learn how to say my name and say it properly. Mm-hmm. My name is DeAndrea, and in college and in high school, I just always went by like a nickname. I went by like Dee or, you know, just something easier for people to remember. But now that I'm graduated and I'm going into the professional world, I don't feel like that's appropriate. Like, I shouldn't have to put Andrea on my resume. You're going to accept me as DeAndrea, and I'm going to take up that space. And, you know, like, you're going to say my full name in the workplace. I'm not going to allow you to shorten me or shorten it to benefit you, because when we have the, you know, long names that don't got no vowels in there, we learn how to say that, with no problem. Right. But then when we have like a Shavante or something, it's like an issue to say, or, you know, you don't know how to pronounce that, you know. So I feel like one way I'm learning how to take up space is like, you're gonna pronounce my full name, you know,
right. Which is big. That's really big. Like,
absolutely, that's your identity. That's who you are.
Exactly. Right? I know people who like are literally thinking about changing their name legally because they want to be able to fit into certain spaces, or because they've been told that they have to fit in certain spaces, and I don't think that's appropriate.
I mean, it's tough though, because, you know, at the end of the day, your name can be tied to your actual, like, what can you actually get materially in this world. Because there was a study that they made at Oxford, this is in the UK, and they found out that people with African names, Nigerian in particular, or Muslim names, had to apply as much as 90% more than white people to get a job. And so when you factor that in, and you're like, I need to eat,
right.
Then you start understanding why certain people could have that, like, okay, I'm going to have to change my name, because if I have to apply to a job 90% more than the other person just so I can actually survive. Yeah,
I get it. I was on that same tip. Like, all right, let me go and put Andrea up on here.
Let me shorten it.
Slide that in there.
I think for me, like me learning how to take up space is like, it's a process. It's a journey.
It is.
Like, you said, like, you're still learning this, like, throughout your life, and I believe so am I. And the key for me is just knowing that I'm meant to be in that space, because, like, we can dumb ourselves down, like you said, like, we can dumb ourselves down, water ourselves down, and make it seem like, you know, I'm so lucky to be in this space. Oh my gosh, I'm just blessed to be here. Like, I'm just here. I made it. Like,
blessed to have
they're blessed to have me. You're
right,
welcome.
exactly.
You feel me? Like,
exactly. And it's like, it can be a lot of like internal feelings that you put on yourself. Like, you know, like, oh my gosh, I made it. Like, I'm just so lucky to be here. Like, if anybody asks me nothing, I'm gonna just be quiet. Like, because I just need to be here. I just need to be in the room. And it's like, being in the room is enough, you know, and that's good. But what happens when you speak up and you make your voice heard in the room? Not just be in the room and be present.
Now, are you still welcome?
Right, exactly. Like, I think that's key, you know, and I think we hit it on the head. I think we hit it on the head. Everybody is doing
I got a little bit off my chest. Okay.
I can breathe now.
Okay.
Exactly.
Unpacking America.
So, ladies, how do you feel about Kamala Harris being elected as our VP? Like, what does that mean to you as a black woman today, you know, as we progress in society in this world?
Well, I'm gonna just first off say I am very happy. We have the first woman first, you know, but black woman at that.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
I want to put black woman first, but you know, I just think it's important in general that we have a woman, you know, as the VP. Hopefully one day, you know, we'll see that black woman president, but you know, until then, I'll digress. But I'm really excited to see, you know, what things come out of this. Joe. We did it! We did it! I'm just happy to be here right now. I'm just gonna enjoy it until we see, you know, what she got. And then
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely a good thing, a great thing to see, you know. We are always doubted as women. You know, a lot of people used to say, like, I don't think the United States is ready for a woman to be in that type of position. Mm-hmm. And it's like, now it's like, well, y'all kind of got to get ready. It don't really matter. Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel like it's a good thing, especially, like, for younger, like, girls to see. Mm-hmm. Like, we've already been seeing so many, like, black women and women in general doing, like, great things. Like, we're going to take back some Michelle.
That's what I was
saying. But,
she
you know what I'm saying? She outdid herself. So it's like, we already used to seeing these women in these great positions, and seeing her in a vice president position, I feel like lets us know, like, oh, well, we was already not gonna stop, but now we really not gonna stop, because we know it's many more levels to get to top, and we definitely can get there. Like, so
no shade, no tea. I just think that they did not want to see Hillary. You know what I'm saying? Like, no shade, no tea. Right. She couldn't cut it for some reason. You know, so
they were like, but hey, we got a sister at the table. Okay, we got a sister up there.
I just hope she do the right things. Absolutely. I hope she.
She said sis was assistant.
I
can't.
Yeah, so how you feel?
Come on, what's sis?
I guess I have a different take, and I think my perspective is different because I'm not American. Mm-hmm. So, like, I understand why Black American women are so happy to see her. I just don't share the same sentiment, and just purely because I'm not looking at it from a identity or gender perspective. Mm-hmm. I think it's good, and I do believe that we should have a diversity of thought in every space, especially at the top. But I just think I don't align myself with Kamala's views or where she stands on certain issues. And so for me, I would take somebody else, even if they were not Black or a woman per se.
I like your perspective.
So I would take Anina Turner any day.
I can take me.
Girl,
as you should.
But, I like that perspective. I never thought about it like in that type of lens, because obviously I am a Black woman in America. So like, I like that you said that, because I guess for other people, it's just good to have other perspectives, especially from somebody else. That's why.
And I think, like, I saw a poll that was showing, so like sort of like the rest of the world opinion on the election, and I think most of the rest of the world was kind of like, we don't really care about whether it's Biden or Trump because of the U.S. foreign policy. So from a foreign policy perspective, we're like, we don't care who's at the helm because y'all still bombing these countries. So.
Right. Y'all still gonna do what y'all want to do.
Yeah. So I think it's just a different perspective. But I do understand why it would make you guys happy and excited to see somebody that looked like you. Yeah. You know, in such a position of power.
Yeah. I feel it. It's just like the quote or the saying, like, the future is female. Mm-hmm. Like how, you know, at this point it's Black female. Okay. Because it's just like. Y'all have done what y'all needed to do. Like, white women have done what they needed to do. Like, allow us to be present.
And cut it. Listen, that's what I'm saying. No shade, no tea.
You weren't doing what you needed
no
to
shade,
do.
No tea,
like,
no
allow us to be able to take this moment, bask in it, and you know, move forward with it. You know, and I'm just praying and hoping that she does what she needs to do next to him. You know what I mean? That she is able to speak her piece. That he's able to hear her out. That he's able to, you know, Biden speaking, like that he's able to understand the issues that are at heart of us as a community, as Black people, and able just to navigate this whole political world. Like, I just hope that he's able to do that, because I think that is key.
That she's not just like, oh, she's just not just there as a trophy. So.
Right, exactly.
Do you have time for a question? I just wanted to ask a question. Do you guys think they picked her for her as a strategic move, or do you guys believe that they really picked her because they believe that she's the best person to represent?
I feel like it was a strategic move.
Me too.
Okay, let's just be honest. America really still not ready for a woman, a sis, to run the country. Okay.
Yeah.
Even if it was somebody you was like, oh yeah, I like her a lot, they still wouldn't be ready, you know. So it was definitely a strategic move.
They were not ready.
Biden needed her.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, I really do. Hope I don't sound ridiculous. I probably do, but.
No, yeah, I think it was strategic too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep. So that was our topic. We did what we needed to do. We continue to pave the way for so many people. I just charge everybody, like, as Black women, just to take up that space, just to use your voice, use like everything that you need to be able to progress in this world. Like, you are only one of you. It's only one of you. You one of a kind. Like, do what you need to do to get yourself ahead, bring community along, get your community involved, whether that's your immediate family, whether that's people that you know, and nonprofit organizations, whoever. Like, bring the community on, and just use your voice. So yeah,
it's okay to shake the table.
Yeah, shake the table, honey.
Thank you for listening to Rich Talk. Make sure you subscribe to our website at richmagdigital.com and follow us on all platforms.